What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about Barcelona's attack, but more importantly, I do want to emphasize and focus specifically on Marcus Rashford because I've been reading a lot of different things in different news articles on Twitter, online, that people were concerned with his first performance in the first match with Barcelona, and I really want to give my thoughts about this because I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But I want to talk about Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. Can this be a success, and where do we see him being a success on the team? And then I also want to break down where I think each player might be the most successful on the pitch this season for the club, because there's a couple different positions where there's a lot of depth there, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see where some of these players play. So I want to break this down and give my thoughts. As always, comment your thoughts and opinions about this down below. I'll do my best to respond. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Then if you guys end up enjoying the video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Now let's jump in and discuss Marcus Rashford, Barcelona, and the rest of Barcelona's attack. Now, first and foremost, I think in a first match of the season, regardless of who plays well, if you win, lose, draw, whatever, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. Not kind of, you do, because it's the first match of the season. Both teams are feeling each other out. And then in Barcelona's case, they were up 2 men. I mean, they literally were playing with 2 men up almost the entire match. After what, like the 35th, 38th minute? They went down to 9 men. So when Barcelona goes up 2-0 and they're up by 2 guys, it makes it so much different because they're just kind of playing very calm and composed. And then at the same time, Mallorca is just crowding the box, and there's 9 players literally in the box at all times. So regardless if it was Marcus Rashford or not, Barcelona couldn't play their normal style of football. And that brings me to Marcus Rashford. He did come on and play more as that striker, but at the same time, he came on with 20 minutes left in the match. They're already winning. They had no reason to score another goal. They were just keeping the ball, keeping possession. Yes, they were making an effort to try and score, but it wasn't like their life depended on it. He really wasn't able to get open and make runs. I mean, it's impossible to play counterattacking football and press when you have the ball 95% of the match and you're just in the final third. It was like literally watching Manchester City, how they just have their entire team around the box and they're just passing around the box. You're not going to criticize Erling Haaland for that, for not really getting involved. So how can you criticize Marcus Rashford? I think it's completely ridiculous that people are criticizing his performance. What else was he supposed to do? So I think moving forward, when he actually plays, when Barcelona's actually, it's a closer match, or it's an 11-on-11 match and Barcelona can actually feel the other team out and, they're getting pressed and the other team can counterattack, get the ball, and then Barcelona wins it back. It's going to be completely different. So I think people are overreacting way too much and way too soon over something that really shouldn't have had any criticism to begin with. Now, when we look at Marcus Rashford and this Barcelona team, what I find most interesting is I thought he was brought in to play as a left winger. Now, typically, I have a friend, one of my best friends is a huge Man United fan, knows football really well, and always said Rashford was better as a winger than as a striker. He watches every single Man U game, so he would know better than I would. And I read something recently that said Flick wanted to move him more as potentially a number 9. What's cool about it is I know that historically, Man United fans would probably say that he's not going to be this crazy work rate player with, pressing all the time. But I think in the Flick system, he's going to have to. You have to. So I think he would, and he would obviously do more than Lewandowski would. And we even saw in some preseason matches that some of the goals that they scored, specifically the last one against Como, happened because Rashford was tracking back. Someone played him a nice ball and he was able to dribble up and then made an assist. If that's Lewandowski, that goal doesn't happen. So I think he provides so much that Lewandowski doesn't. And I also think he's a little better and more skilled than Ferran Torres. But does he break in as a number 9? Because a lot of the commentators in the match were like, where does Rashford fit in? How does he fit in this team? When does he fit in? He doesn't. A lot of them made it seem like he's not going to get a lot of playing time. If he's going for the number 9 role, maybe, but I would like to see him play on the left, I think, a little more, because we could see that when Raphinha moved over into the center of the pitch, he was so much more involved, I think, and was able to create so much more opportunities playing through the center and under the striker rather than on the left. I know he scored from the left wing early in the match, but I really don't think Raphinha was all that impactful for a lot of the match that he was playing on the left wing. And I think Rashford would be able to create a dynamic where he's offering more pace, one-on-one ability, play him through balls. I mean, you can do that a little bit with Raphinha, but Raphinha moving over into the center, I think, can be really beneficial and almost play as like a shadow striker or, a high cam. And I think this is where I would personally like to see Marcus Rashford. Now, the issue is, I mean, I guess there's not an issue. You can play like this. You could even start like that. But if Olmo is healthy, Fermin is healthy, Raphinha, if everyone's healthy, the starting lineup is probably going to be the same as it was last season. And Rashford more than likely will just get subbed on, and maybe Olmo will come off, Rashford will move to the left, and then Raphinha will move in cam. That's what I'm thinking. I just think with the ability that Rashford has, I think we might get more from him playing on the left wing. And he's also going to get more playing time, I think, if he's playing on the left-hand side, because competing with Ferran Torres and Lewandowski, I think, is very difficult. I still believe that Lewandowski is going to be starting majority of the matches. And honestly, with the way that the striker market is right now, I know it's crazy, but literally everyone's off the market now. I mean, Sesko, Ekitike, Haaland's off the market. Mbappe's never going anywhere. Victor Osimhen, I don't know what's up with that, why he's staying out in Galatasaray. Alvarez is with Atletico. Lautaro Martinez is with Inter. I mean, there's really no other strikers for Barcelona, I feel like, to go out and target next season. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff where Lewandowski, maybe they're just going to extend his contract till next season. And to be completely honest, if Rashford and Ferran Torres have good seasons too, I mean, maybe that's not the worst thing in the world, because then you still have extra depth. You know, he doesn't have to start every match. He can come in, he can start some matches coming off the bench. But I think that's really interesting too, is I don't really know if it's feasible or who Barcelona could even try and target as a center forward moving into next season, because I don't think it's Isak. Barcelona can't afford that. So I just think it's a really interesting situation that Barca's in, because if Rashford's going to play as a number 9, I don't see him really playing that much, because Ferran Torres, I think, proved to us last year that he solidified himself as an impactful player, and he can score and he will do well when he gets the chance. I mean, the goal that he scored last match, I mean, you know, I know it was like weird consequences. The team, Mallorca, kind of stopped playing to an extent, but it was a great finish. Really composed, nice shot. Ferran Torres could have a great season too. So I just think it's going to be one of those interesting situations where it's going to work itself throughout the season. But ultimately, I think it depends on the health of maybe Lewandowski too, because if his health isn't consistent, we might see Rashford play more as a number 9, rotating with Ferran Torres. If he's healthy, he's probably going to come on and play as a left winger, and then this is where it's tough. A lot of people are really into Fermin Lopez. If Fermin, Olmo, and Raphinha are all 100% healthy, Fermin is probably number 3 on the depth chart. I know so many people are a big fan, and I think he has potential, but even when Olmo came on the pitch last match, again, 9 men, they were already up, it didn't matter, but he just creates so much more opportunity, and he's a little more technical and skilled than Fermin Lopez. He is a world-class player when he's fit, so it's just really interesting to me, but it's also great to see Raphinha playing through the center too. I think he does really, really well, and he was a lot more noticeable when he was playing in the center of the pitch. So I think it's going to be a really, really interesting season to see where these players finally end up and what this normal starting lineup looks like, and where these players that come off the bench like Gavi and Ferran Torres and Rashford and Fermin Lopez, where are they going to play? This is, it's interesting. So no, I'm not overreacting. I think Marcus Rashford could be a huge success at Barcelona. I think it's going to take him a couple of weeks to find his comfort and to be in his comfort zone, find his form. But ultimately, I think he's going to be fine. And I'm just more intrigued to see where Flick plays him more. I just think the left wing makes the most sense. So let me know what you guys think about this down below, about Marcus Rashford and the rest of the club. Ideally, what would your starting 11 look like? And then if players are coming off the bench, where would you want these players to come in at? And then do you think Marcus Rashford, I mean, his performance, we can't really criticize it. What was he supposed to do last match? I mean, you could criticize almost anybody last match towards the end of the match, because there wasn't that much that Barca had to do, needed to do, or really was going to do anyways. So let me know where you see Rashford fitting into the club, and if you still think he can be really successful, or do you think this could be a failure? Let me know your thoughts about this down below. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys back here next time. Peace.